Oh, and welcome along and welcome back to No Man's Land. We are running on the updated version of the map now, and our fields of sorghum are ripe and ready to harvest. So we're going to head out there. We're going to get the tractor and trailer out there first and get that positioned so that we can easily empty our combine into the trailer. And then we're going to come back and grab our combine so that we can get started. Lots of interesting mods and things released over the last few days. There's a very nice John Deere Batwing mower that also functions as a mulcher. We can switch it between mulcher and mower if we wanted. And I'm slightly tempted to get rid of the brand new mulcher we got last time. And our mower, which isn't very realistic to be placed on the back of our tractor, on the back of our tractor, as it's a front-mounted mower, and get that instead. But I still a little bit out of our price range. Even if we go and do that, we are still gonna be about £5,000-6,000 short. And at the moment, we do not have £500 or £600 in order to spare. What I do think I am going to do, though, is replace our rear-mounted, our current front-mounting mower that we're using as a rear-mounted mower. I think we're going to replace that with a proper rear-mounted one. We're coming up to our second cut of grass on the field here. It's looking fairly good, that grass. That is fully, it's fully done. It's fully fertilized and looking pretty good. So, yeah, we're going to be cutting that probably towards the end of August after we got the sorghum done. We need to get these sorghum fields cut, and then what we can do is mulch them and get them ready for next year's crop. We're probably going to put barley or wheat into these two. Both are good crops for us to have. I don't know if we're going to do sorghum again next year. We'll see how we go. But right now, this looks like it's handling it pretty well. And doing okay. Let's pop outside and see how well it goes. Ah, yeah. This little combine is absolutely fantastic. I think it's probably going to take us 2 days to get both these fields done, but this is kicking off well. Hopefully the yield's going to match. Eventually, I want to expand this field closer to that tree line up there. The field behind us won't work so well expanding up that way, but this one should do pretty well. It's really a question of where is the best place to expand next? I mean, we're in a position where we can't expand very fast at the moment anyway, and we're trying to make the most of this single plot of land we've got. Plot 26 seems to be very rich for us in our ability to do lots of various things, but eventually, as I said in previous ones, we're going to want to expand out from this single plot we're on. And I think 16 is probably the most interesting plot we can expand into. It may not be the one with the most space, but as far as having an interesting looking farm, I think it would be a great way to go. Having said that, 27 has a lot of space that we can expand to it and expand more than one of our fields. Whereas I think it's plots. Let's have a look at this. Plot 25. Would also be a good expansion place for us, because it would allow us to expand 2 of our fields out that way as well. So really, there's a lot of options kicking about here for where we could expand to next. And what I think I might do is when we come to that point, when we're getting near to looking at that, I may put it to you guys. I may ask you guys to decide which way we should go. And maybe put it to the vote. Maybe put it out on a vote on the Patron and members areas, and see what you guys think, and which way you guys think we should go. I think that would be a pretty cool way to do it. Maybe this sorghum really kicks up a lot of dust at the front. I mean, it's You saw it when we were in the cab. It is almost impossible to see out the front with that. With the amount it kicks out the front, it doesn't really kick a lot out the back, but that's because I think this is cutting higher. Sorghum does get cut at a higher level than other crops, and therefore there's not as much stalk and not as much to come out the back. But yeah, it sure kicks a lot of dust up off the front of it. We are about halfway, 2/3 of the way through our third headland here, and we're at 94%. So hopefully we can get a little bit further along here before we have to empty. I'm keeping a close eye on it because we're gonna just pop out towards the tractor and trailer, empty this out as we finish this row. And yeah, I don't want to run into the crops. So 98, there we go, 99, that will do. Turn the thresher off for a minute, back this up, and we can offload into our trailer like so. Oop, there we go, that's got it, I think. There we go. Right, so let's empty this out, and yeah, I think we might get maybe another tank and a half off this field, which would work pretty well for us. Would give us a very nice amount of sorghum, especially considering this field should be fully done. Everything but mulched. No, everything but mulched. This field was this year. So yeah, we can still squeeze a little more yield out of it. And combine is empty. Perfect. Trying to keep the auger out, as I said last time, and as somebody pointed out to me when I did my first episode with this combine, you wouldn't put the auger in on this because on these older combines they had no way of the grain pouring straight out of the tank and out of that auger hole. So you you leave the auger out, you keep the grain in place, and then you don't fold it in until you have emptied your grain tank. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna lose crop. Right, we want to cut in at this point, so let's head up here, position ourselves about here-ish. I think is a good place. Get ourselves nice and straight, down with the header, and away we go. I do find that compass fairly invaluable when I'm doing stuff without GPS. Really helps me to keep on the right track and make sure that I'm cutting along a straight line. If it ends up changing too much, then I know that I need to sort myself out, get myself realigned and in the right position. So yeah, it's pretty useful, that feature, and I've used it in FS. I think I've used it all the way back as far as FS15 to get myself on the right line and in the right positions. So yeah, it's a great little feature that works really well when you're not using GPS. Of course, everything gets easier with GPS, but on a combine of this age, just not something you'd really fit to it. So yeah, I like to be realistic and not be using GPS on something like this. Beginning to look like 2 full tanks up here was a tad optimistic for this field. We've only got half a tank on here, and we are in the last section of the field. I was hoping for a slightly better setup, but you know, me guessing and estimating how much I'm going to get off a field based on what I get off the headlands is notoriously out, and I think this is looking more like a 2/3 to 3/4 of a tank off the rest of this field, especially as the bottom half of here does not have a full length in, not a full width, full length in it, and we kind of got the same from the other bit. So yeah, We're at 62%, so we are going to hit that 2/3. Whether we hit the 3/4, that is another thing entirely. I'm kind of hoping we do, but it's looking very suspect at the moment. That is the 2/3 of a point of a tank point, though. I don't know if actually all of this is going to fit in the trailer either. It may take us a couple of runs to do that, or because it's only 10 to 11, we could end up doing the second field and getting that cut as well today. So it looks like 3/4 of a tank was pretty much spot on. In fact, it was spot on. 75% full, and we can go and empty this in our trailer, or as much of this as we can in our trailer. But it being only 3 minutes past 11, we have plenty of time to go and do the second field. So we'll empty this out here. We'll fill this trailer up as much as we can. We'll go tip that, and then we'll head on to our second field of sorghum today. Get that done as well, and that will give us a really good amount. So we've got half a tank left. So that answers another question. After a full tank on this, how much of a second tank will it take? And it's 25%. So we're just going to park combine here for a moment and go and tip this into our silo and get this out of the way. I'm wondering, we may even have enough time to get these fields mulched as well. Although I need to check whether there's anything else that they need before we do that. Into our slightly wobbly grain storage they go. And looking pretty good. What I think I'm going to do is restrict myself, because these are very basic. These are very basic towers, very basic grain storage here. We can only, I'm going to restrict it to only being able to put 2 crops in here. We're basically putting 1 in one tower and 1 in the other. It's a realism side of things that I think should work fairly well for us. While we're restricted to 2 crops, we can only put 2 crops in those storages, and yeah, that I think is a better way to go. But we can get this back up to the field now. Really pleased with this grass. That grass is ready is perfect. We can get that cut and turned around, and be in a good position with that as well fairly quickly. Right, let's park this here. We don't have to go very far. We can jump in our combine and get the second field cut today as well, which will just make a massive difference to the amount of work we have to do. I could have, at this point, I'm looking at how long it's taking us to do things. We could go down to 2 days. I'm kind of liking the whole 3-day setup at the moment. So we're going to stick with that for now. With actually how much this will take, no, we'll do the 25% once we've got this full again. It's not going to be 50% off this headland, so we'll easily make it round the field and make it back. Should be absolutely fine. So this is a bit I was talking about. I think if we come up the top here, put a road along the side of this field there, and go through to the other side of those trees. We can then plant some more of our own trees this side and not really lose anything with this field. Whereas if we were to ignore the grass bit at the top of the other field, we'd lose a good section of field that we could have. And it would make, the shapes of these fields not wholly square at the tops and everything. So I quite like the idea of expanding things like that a bit. It's a really... I love how our farm is shaping up. I love how things haven't turned out to be just big rectangular fields on here, that we have got some slightly odd shapes. I want to work with the landscape on this map. We're at 88%. I think we'll empty out at this point. So bring this over here and empty this out. And then with that, we should be able to get about 35% full again in here. Which is, will we get 20,000 liters of sorghum off here? And look at, I want to have a look at the price as well. So the price of sorghum, we've got 8,000 liters already, is 631, which is a little bit lower than I expected. Looking at the price fluctuations, though, we are in the absolute doldrums of it. Like everything else, end of December is when we want to be selling this. So how much is it going to go up? I don't know. I would like it to reach £1,000 per litre, but we'll have to see that. Let's not put that in. And if it reaches £1,000 per 1,000 litres, that would be great. I need to double check though exactly what I'm running economy wise on here, because we should be running normal for this series, otherwise we will never get anywhere. So I will just double check that. Yeah, I've checked the economic difficulty and we are running at normal, so that price really is the price that we'd expect. But as I said, 680, it's about where you would expect for this time of year. Whether it will reach the heights of a £1,000 per 1,000 litres, which is really where I'd like it to be, I don't know. As I said, the most annoying thing to me about those graphs, those fluctuation graphs, is there's no indication of what that high price is, what the top price you're expecting to reach is. So hopefully we'll get that, but we'll see where we are in December. Everything we have here though wants to sell in December. It's all on that kind of line. So that is the time when we're going to be getting the most money and probably doing a whole load of setup for the next year. So yeah, what we do between then and now probably isn't going to be a huge amount, other than maybe getting next year's crop in if we've got enough seed and things. It does worry me that we might be a little bit short before we get to that point. But we'll see how we go. We've certainly got a cut of hay and a cut of silage to go in that time, and we're gonna need a tedder. So I'm guessing that our next cut of grass is actually going to be a cut of silage. Right, so let's get this emptied, because there is more than enough in our combine to fill this trailer, and then we'll see how we go from here. Get this out. So this represents 16,000 litres plus whatever we've still got in the combine. And what we've got in the combine is actually 1,900 litres. So yeah, we are in a place where we've got 17,900 litres. It's not bad. We should make 20,000 litres on this, I think, which is brilliant. So I'm just going to go and empty this, and then we're going to go and cut into the crop again and get that last little bit at the top of the field done. Trailer emptied. Bring this up here. Just park it here. That way we can easily empty it. 16,000 litres in the grain store. Another 1,900 here, which is 29% actually. So I think that is a really good amount for us to empty out of the combine before we go and do the next cutting. And that way we know if we get a full tank or get near to a full tank. Should get near to a full trailer. I don't think there's enough in the top end of this field to do that, especially based on the last field. But we can but hope, because if we get that much, it's going to be a really good return off these two fields. To hit the 20,000 litre mark, we need 2,100 litres, and we are just passing 2,200 litres. So we are over 20,000 litres of sorghum on here, which is brilliant. I'm really pleased that we got that much sorghum. And yeah, that will be a nice little income from the farm. As I said, at the moment the price is about £640 per 1,000 litres. Hopefully it'll go up. If it reaches as high as £1,000 per 1,000 litres, that would be awesome. That would have us set off these two fields for next year. We'd be able to afford, definitely be able to afford to set up all the chickens. Whether we could then afford to set up the sheep as well will be a good question from that. I'm going to just finish off this very small row we have down the bottom here. Swing that round. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, looks like we're going for 50%. If we can hit 80% off the remains of this, then that is going to be fantastic. That will take us up to a whopping 24,000 litres. That would be epic. I don't think we're going to reach such giddy heights though. We are just coming up to 4,000 litres. 4,100 litres, that will take us to 22,000 litres overall though. And with only 50 litres to go in this small strip, that should be roughly where we finish off today. A really decent yield. Very, very nice coming off here with the soybeans. And yeah, we get the right price for them, and that is going to be a whacking injection of cash for the farm come December. So let's turn that off. Look at the state of our combine though. We do need to give this a good wash before we put it away. We don't have the money, unfortunately, to give it a service before we put it away for after this year's harvest. But we can... well, we could do that in the winter. We'll give everything a service. We know our tractor is going to need one at that point as well. And hopefully it's going to be okay. But it has got a lot of ploughing to do between then and now. We might have to find another source of money to cover... well, to cover the maintenance of the tractor. Because the tractor is going to need it. Our combine, though, is looking pretty good. That we might get away with not servicing that this year. Let's bring that auger in. Get it away from our trailer so we don't hit anything. Yeah, and I think we'll take this back to the yard. And before we tip the crop, we'll give this a wash, I think. Before we head back out to the field and grab our tractor. So in we come to the yard, and do we have a... oh, I thought we had a... yeah, I thought we had something to clean our stuff with. We don't yet. We've got the workshop, but yeah, we don't have anything to clean this with. So we'll have to park this out the way, I think, over here. And I think we're going to have to raise a little bit of cash. To get ourselves not only a pressure washer, but a couple of other things. Our header is clean as. Wonder if the dirt map works on this. But yeah, that's that even showing. I'm not even sure that's showing anywhere. So that's interesting. Combine is definitely very, very dirty. Header, I know header does have some dirt on it. It's not a huge amount, not compared to our combine. So with the combine safely back at the yard, we now want to get our trailer. We've got 6,075 litres off that field. That's off the, remaining off that field. That's a really good amount. I'm actually really pleased with how well our harvest has gone between our two fields. As I said, we're going to have 24,000. We got 23,000. We got about 24,000 of both crops off those two fields. That is really good. Yeah, 23,262 of the barley, 22,074 of the sorghum, and both of them are going to want selling late December. Look at that price drop in January. So yeah, must sell both of these late December. in order to make most. I think the same is true with the straw late December sale. And I think if we were strictly doing our other bits, our lettuce, tomatoes, and strawberries, January for the lettuce, January for the tomatoes, January for the strawberries. So yeah, we probably want to try and save those up if we can. If we need to sell anything to get some more stuff, then yeah, there's an obvious time for that that will need doing. But all in all, I think that's pretty good. Right, I want to park my trailer off to the side. Neat little place to park it down the side here. Might put a little bit of dirt here for this, but yeah, that is a good space for our trailer. Get that off. And yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end today, because that is those 2 fields harvested. We've got some mulching to do, we've got some mowing to do, and yeah, we've got a few bits to do before the end of August, and we get into the autumn, at which point, yeah, it's all going to be turned around, ready for the next year. For now, we're going to leave this here, though, so all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.